A House lawmaker urging the U.S. to donate one of its warships to the country. Cagayan de Oro City Representative Rufus Rodriguez made that appeal in letters to U.S. Defense Chief Lloyd Austin and Washington's envoy to Manila, Mary Kay Carlson. Rodriguez believes the USS Philippine Sea can augment Manila's patrols in the West Philippine Sea. The USS Philippine Sea is a guided missile cruiser which has completed multiple deployments as part of the U.S.'s global war against terrorism. The ship is set to be decommissioned come 2025. President Marcos thanks the United Arab Emirates for pardoning 143 Filipinos in a phone call Monday. Marcos told UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed the move brought relief to many Filipino families. He also thanked Sheikh Mohammed for aid they sent to typhoon victims in the Philippines. Data from the Philippine Statistics Authority shows 13.6% of Filipino overseas workers last year worked in the Middle Eastern country. An Octa research poll suggests rising preference among Filipinos for the Marcos administration. The September survey found 38% identify with the government, slightly up from the 36% in June. In contrast, preference for the Duterte family was down by a percentage point to 15%. Professor Ranjit Rai of Octa suggests the Marcoses got a boost in the lowest socioeconomic class due to government interventions for the poor. The lower preference for the Dutertes, meanwhile, was attributed to the string of issues against the family, such as the House hearings on Vice President Sara Duterte's alleged misuse of public funds.
But the thing is, on the flip side, when you look at the survey, I think those who are preferring to be pro Duterte saw a decline in Class E, and in certain areas, probably because of the negative media campaign against them, and that has been very severe. But nonetheless, they still have 15%. You know, it's kind of impressive given how much that brand in particular took a toll, toll on that brand over the last 2 quarters.
Meanwhile, the Octa survey found a 2 percentage point increase among Filipinos who identify with the opposition. Some 26% said they remain independent, which Rai views as Filipinos wanting a new kind of politics.
This is, I think, open game for everyone, especially in this forthcoming electoral exercise. This is the 40% of our adult population that's looking for new leaders, new movements to support the dominant powers that be, whether it's the Marcos family or the Dutertes, or even our traditional opposition.
The United Nations Security Council expressing strong concern after several UN peacekeeping positions in southern Lebanon came under fire amid clashes between Israel and Hezbollah. The 15-member council urges all parties to respect the safety and security of UNIFIL and reiterates its importance for regional stability. The UN says since the start of Israeli ground operations in Lebanon, UNIFIL positions have been affected 20 times, with 5 peacekeepers injured during the incidents. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has rejected accusations Israeli troops had deliberately targeted UNIFIL peacekeepers. The Philippines opens a week-long Asia-Pacific summit on disaster risk reduction, with President Marcos reaffirming his administration's commitment to addressing climate change. Our correspondent Pia Gutierrez now joins us with more. Pia, over to you.
Hi, Carmina. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on Tuesday called on countries in the Asia-Pacific region to redouble their efforts to reduce disaster risks in order to secure a sustainable and climate-resilient future. The Philippine leader made a statement as he led the opening of the Asia-Pacific Ministerial Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction. It's a biennial international event which aims to reduce the risk and impact of disasters in the world's most disaster-prone region. In his speech, the president noted that as countries in the Asia-Pacific continue to face increasing threats brought about by climate change, there is a need to strive to create a future where the need for disaster recovery becomes less frequent, all while laying the foundations towards a safer, more adaptive, inclusive, and disaster-resilient region. Let's listen to President Marcos Jr.
Resilience and sustainability must underpin the national agenda of our economy. This recognizes that all our efforts in economic planning are fragile, in the face of calamities and disaster. For us, the stakes are existential, the consequences generational, and the policy environment increasingly complex. We must strive to create a future where the need for recovery becomes less frequent, as we lay the foundations for a safer, more adaptive, inclusive, and disaster-resilient region.
Marcos Jr. also called for the establishment of stronger international legal frameworks that will guide disaster prevention and response, particularly in ensuring the protection of persons in the event of disasters. The Philippines, he says, is proud to lead the initiative toward developing an international legal instrument for the protection of persons in the event of disasters. This, as he notes, that as climate change and disasters are catalysts for human displacement, it is necessary to put in place forward-thinking policies that he says will create safe pathways for migration and will support those displaced by disasters so that they can rebuild their lives with dignity and security. Carmina, the Asia-Pacific Minister Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction will run until October 18. Carmina.
Thanks a lot, Pia Gutierrez there joining us on the line.